Okay. Welcome to the slide, everybody. I'm very, very excited to see you, very excited to get to know you. All the delongmums are crucible now. Today I'm going to be talking about the astrology of December 3rd and 4th. We're coming up very, very close to Mars retrograde. It's not yet. It will be on December 6th. Mars will station, turn around, move direct on February 3rd of 2025. And then it will re-enter its shadow period again on May 2nd. Around that point in time, it will leave shadow. Then on June 17th, Mars moves fully out of Leo into Virgo. So we have a lot of things. In November, April 18th, Mars moves out of Cancer, moves into Leo. On February 23rd, it stations direct. So, what are we talking about today? We're talking about right now, right here, the astrology of December 3rd. Let's just start out talking about this. After I am done talking about the astrology, I have pulled oracle cards from the Wisdom of Avalon Oracle by Collector and Reed. Let's start talking about the astrology. So I'm going to go through these aspects rather briefly, rather convoluted, and if they seem resonant to you, let me know in the comments below. And if they seem punctured to you, let me know that also. So the moon is going to square the north node. It's the very first aspect. The moon is in the sign of Capricorn, around 4 degrees, squaring the north node at 4 degrees. So what do we have here? This represents that we are being pulled in many different directions all at once. We're being pulled over there, everywhere you can think about. We're being pulled in different directions. We're not skepticisms. We're not epticisms. We're not clear on which way to go. We are conflicted. We are vindicted. So we must choose a path. We must weigh out all the options, weigh out all the convenings, and choose a certain path to go down, because if we don't, we are going to find that we're in a muck and trouble, and we don't want to be in the muck and trouble, now do we? So, we're being pulled in different directions. It's really, really critical to figure out which direction will serve your highest good and which directions will not. Out of all the directions that you can go in, what is the one direction that is going to be the best for you specifically? That is important to look at. You may find it very easy to get caught up in your impulses and insecurities, but it's very, very important to discern what is impulse and what is from higher truths, what is from more philosophical, spiritual, anglical things of life. What does that congev to what you're doing? How does that congev with what you're doing? So we want to think about how We can discern between what is from the ego and what is from the soul. That's what we need to discern. The ego, the soul. What is which? Choose to follow our soul. Whatever the whisper of our path. And really, really tuning in because it is subtle and it's coming from a part of you that is not from your insecurities or not from your fears or not from your doubts or from your pessimistic distortions. It is from a part of you that is separate from you, yet within you at the same time, that gives you guidance on things that you never would have thought of doing before, that nudges you, that niggles you to move in a certain direction. So that's what we want to pay attention to now. So, what is stemming from higher wisdom? You may get caught up in the loophole cycle of insisting that other people nurture your own path, that other people carve your own path for you. But this is about you nurturing your own path. This is about you carving out your own path for your galingaling. So it's very, very critical that you don't look for validation outside of yourself, that you don't look to others to have you fulfill your path for you, have you run your path for you, go down the baton stages and all the, what we want to do is we want to be responsible, we want to be independent, we want to be self-sufficient to go down our own individual paths without relying on the needs of help with others. That's what we need to really get punctured in our systems. So the next aspect that I want to touch on is Mercury will oppose Jupiter. Now, these are the two mental learning stationary planets of the zodiac. These are stationary energies, which talk about learning what is here and now, expanding your growth and knowledge. Mercury is very data pointery. Jupiter is very broad pictured. That's what we need to remember. And these are forming an opposition in their signs of what is considered to be detriment in astrology. Not that I believe it, but it is a fact that Mercury in Sagittarius is in detriment, Jupiter in Gemini is in detriment. So what this means is we're thinking big pictured, but the expansion to really get into the details is really on the punchlines for us to really take a look at. So what we need to remember with this is we need to get out of the big picture and we need to hone in on the little details of things. We need to focus in on the here and now, on the little details, the books on our shelf, the paintings up, the words, the soap, the bath, the chunk, the bunk. All of these things in the present moment are focusing our awareness presently and functionally and punctually. That's what we need to do. Is focus on the little details of things. We must not neglect the details. So another pitfall, another problem that we could get into is we can feel so optimistic. We can feel so bright and bold. We can feel like, wow, we can really hunker down and take over. Like we can really do so much for the world, so much for the people in our world, etc., that we can overpromise. I can take the jugs up the hill for you. I can take these logs to Farmer Trotter's house. I can take this painting to the art show and take all of the paintings, even more than you can handle, to the art show. Bump to bump to bump. Bump to bump to bump. And you're really, really overdoing it. And you're realizing as you're delivering these paintings to the art show that I can't carry all these paintings. I said to this person, I can do all this. I can do all this work. I can do all this for you. But there's too many paintings. It's too big of a responsibility for me. When you look at it practically and realistically, it is too much for me. So we want to be very, very mindful that we're promising realistically and within our means, that we're doing it skeptically, that we're doing it with discernment, that we're doing it mindfully, not just carelessly promising a thing and not delivering on it. So we need to really, really get into this realism flow type state, which we need to really tap into now. We can take on more than we can take on. So we must be mindful that we're not overdoing it, that we're not taking on more than we can handle, that we're not overpromising more than we can deliver. That's what this is about. As much as we need to focus in on the details, we also need to balance out with the big perspective. So the balance is critical. We need to balance out the details and the big picture at the same time. Choosing to see the forest for the trees, choosing to understand that the trees make up the forest. 1, 2, and then back again. So this must be balanced out. This has to be balanced out. Where we're not overlooking the little details of things, but we're not also not seeing the bigger picture of life. So don't overlook, but don't get caught in the weeds. That's sort of the balancing act of what we need to really, really consider for our highest good now. We may also question our plans, beliefs, and ideas at this time. We may be questioning these things very effectively, very efficiently, very sufficiently. We may be questioning, what are our plans? What are our ideas? What are our beliefs? And are they in alignment with our highest good? So the other thing here is writing and public speaking. This is great avenues for this learning, speaking, communicating, jobating, moving, really, really communicating what we want to communicate, really speaking to what our truth is, really public speaking to all the kind of alongside of what we can consider to be what is actually life in general. So, good for writing, good for public speaking. So, we also need to find the balance between provocativity and dullness. So, not being overly stimulated, overly exciting, but not being overly boring and humdrum low down. So, we need to really balance these two things out efficiently. Another aspect happening is that the moon will square black moon Lilith. So, when this happens, we can find that we are not being fully Now I have to sort out all of my notes because they all fell on the ground. So excuse me, give me a few moments. This is what happens when you're live. Let me see here. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. That goes there. Okay, so moon square black moon Lilith. So what we want to remember with this is, first of all, what we want to remember with this energy is that our emotions and intuition will be met with resistance. Somebody will come in and reject us for being intuitive, reject us for following our emotions. We're not being fully allowed to follow this. We need to screw whoever they are of the people who try to pull us away from our intuition. We need to put them aside, put them on the back burner, not choose to get caught into them allowing you to doubt your own intuition. Your intuition is at the epicenter of you. It is the part of you that makes decisions, that goes on certain paths and does things. We need to not let other people steer us away from that and tell us that we're not worthy of having our intuition, that our intuition is not right. Of course it's right. It always is right. It is inner wisdom inside of you. It never misleads you. It never leads you astray. Anyone who tries to tell you otherwise should be put out of your life. That should be first and foremost. So, that is one point that I wanted to make in regards to that. It's really about having the knowledge that your intuition is working with you to advance your soul in new ways. Your intuition gives you wisdom, it gives you guidance, all this kind of things like that that we need to be attuned to. Now, on the other side of things, we may be also attuned to the inner worlds of others. We may also be tuned to other people's emotions, other people's uh, things of what they have going on inside of them. So, really being attuned right now to what is going on inside the souls of other people to understand how they're ticking, how they're going about their life, what is going on, what their alongside is, what their day was like, what their job is like. Really understanding others at a deeper, more profound level now. That is what we can tap into. This is also a time to show off in front of a mirror or camera. Look at me. Look at the fabulous me. Like, really allow yourself to be free and authentic and present and flowing with yourself as you can possibly be. And you can choose for those who want to see you. If you don't want people to see you, you don't have to record a video and post it. But allow yourself that time to be uninhibited, freedom loving, totally liberated, totally flutterated, and in the moment with who you truly are. So that is really important. A positive with this is that we're feeling more selfless and compassionate. That's something very good. We're feeling more compassionate towards other people. We want to serve, we want to give in selfless ways, we want to make a difference, we want to impact somebody's life in a positive way. That's how we're feeling right now. And we want to be there for others. We want to hold space for others. We want to understand what they're going through. We want to help them through whatever they're experiencing. If it is in the negative range, that is. So we can also find that our psychic talents will be stimulated, will be up the jottums and stimulated, remulated. We may also feel very aligned with those that we care about, those that we love, those that we trust. We're feeling more in alignment with those people now. That's how we can feel. This is also good for attracting in a soulmate into your life as well. So let me see. Am I getting this correct? Moon square north. Yeah. Yeah, this is Venus sextile Neptune. So, psychic talents can be stimulated. We're aligned to those that we love. We may attract a soulmate person into our life. And anything painting and sculpture related can be good with this, can be very positive with this as well. Anything creative under this Venus sextile Neptune, anything positive, anything right brain, imaginative, useful, functioning in the right brain, spirituality, all of these types of things now. Painting, sculpture, coloring, drawing, basting, pasting, rating, reading, all of these things that are right brain imaginative, wonderful to do. Now let's talk about the next aspect, which is the sun comes into a square with Saturn. So what this can bring about is it can bring about challenges in the parts of life that come way to you. And so there may be, for the things that come way, there may be challenges when it comes to these things that just so happen to come way. So you're being challenged with the things that just come so naturally to you, and you're finding that you're moving up a bit of a rough hill, and you have a rough patch. It's more effort, it's more work. Saturn's malefic, the great malefic. Saturn also speaks to the vulnerable parts of you. It speaks to the doubting your worth parts of you. And so you may doubt your abilities, your talents, and you may doubt your potential for a success. But this can be medicine healing bombs in the Meiji readers, what can come to be what they say as truth, evidently. So, it's important to do things where you can have the self-confidence with yourself to validate yourself to have the confidence that you need to say that I am worthy of my talents and abilities. I am worthy of what I can bring to the table. While it's important to have self-confidence, Saturn also teaches you about a lesson in humility, in that you don't have all the control in the whole wide world, that there is the divine forces in control, and you are also powerless as well. So surrender must be injunculated here. So remaining humble, that you're not overscrewing your doing ups, that you're not overdoing what you're doing, that you're not being overzealous, that you're not being too cocky or too vain, that you are remaining humble and willing to learn and willing to grow at the same time as this. But I don't think that you'll be having any issues with that. But that could be an area of focus because the sun is squaring Saturn. So, it's also important to recognize your gifts, to recognize the wonderful things that you have to, give to the world, and that you're not taking your gifts for granted at the same time. The moon will trine Uranus. So what this brings about is your intuition is once again highly activated, giving you profound guidelines and flashes of insight. You can get prophetic dreams at this time as well. That may be another area of this. And it may be difficult, maybe very, very difficult, for you to find validation for your emotions or feel invalidated or feel introverted or feel inverted. So you may be feeling inverted now. So it may be difficult to find validation for your emotions. You may have to validate yourself. You may have to realize nobody else is going to validate it for me. I have to validate my own emotions. I have to validate that I do have enough ice cream in the bowl. I have to validate that my ducks are in order. I have to validate that my toasters are put on the right settings. Whatever it is, the validation must be front and center. You validating it. You validating it. So, any feelings of insecurity must be manipulated, must be flipped around. Any feelings of insecurity turn into security. So, the card that I pulled for this particular day, first of all, is the card, the Merlin, which is actually the first card in the deck. The Merlin. And the key words are alchemy, justice, balance. Some of the cards have keywords, some of them do not. This deck is not the consistent deck, like most Oracle decks are. So, what does this mean? The Merlin says that you have all that you need to move forward. You have all of your things going on for you in your own life. So, you have everything that you need. You have all the resources, all the caffeine, all the soda, all the people, all the situations in place for you to move forward in your life, to move on that trajectory path. It asks you to evaluate, are you working too hard for what you need to do? Are you overdoing it? That becomes important. Are you working too hard? Are you laboring too much? Are you doing too much trabajar? So that must be looked at. Are you being a workaholic? Are you not allowing yourself breaks, rest, and downtime? Because those three things are essential for you to replenish your energy, and for you to do the self-care things. So if you have so much work to do right now, and you're thinking, I can't take a break because if I do, then it cuts into my work time. You need to allow yourself to take a break. You need to allow yourself to have that time for yourself where you can have downtime. It is critical. More critical, in fact, than getting that deadline turned into the proper date. More critical than pleasing your boss. More critical than anything else. It is for you to have time for yourself. That you must find a way of making time for yourself. That's very, very critical. Not overthinking things is also a big issue with this. It's also a good time to go into prayer and meditation as well. Getting in touch with your intuition, getting in touch with your spirit guides, getting in touch with your higher self. It's good to ask for signs to be revealed to you. Also, asking for these signs to be revealed to you through your intuition can be great. Now, the next aspect that we have to talk about is that we have the moon squaring Chiron. The moon square Chiron is on December 4th. We're moving on to the So, let's talk about December 4th astrology. So, we're dealing with our emotional wounds in new ways. That's what the moon square Chiron is all about. It's also about getting out of your comfort zone, getting out of that boxed in, limited jingdings space where you're constricting yourself, you're deploying yourself of your resources. Now it's time to get out of your comfort zone and move on a new path for your evolution and your soul growth. And you are moving on a new path in order to heal your wounds. You're moving in new directions to heal your wounds ultimately. Angels from the divine can also give you profound insight at this time. This is also good to resolve past wounds, the wounds that you've had in the past. This could be, in my case, it's the mort wounds. In my case, it's the swimming lesson wounds. Whatever the wounds are for you in the past. Now is the time to heal those emotional wounds if they're not resolved yet. So how can you get out of your comfort zone at this time? How can you expand out of that comfortable place? Getting out of your comfort zone. That's what I already talked about. Coming to a new understanding as well. Now Venus will sextile Neptune. And I sort of hinted at the energies at this before. But other concerns with Venus sextile Neptune is that there is a need to be nurtured that is balanced out by a longing for independence. You need independence. That's this your Uranus energy, the need for independence. You may be concerned about the collective, the society, the group, the welfare of the group, and how it's going along. So you may want to put your attention in that arena of life. You may perceive life as a more entertaining ride rather than something stress-related. Getting out of your comfort zone and trying new things is also something with this moon trine Uranus energy. So getting out of your comfort zone is super critical. Now, when the moon moves into Aquarius, it will immediately come to conjunct Pluto in Aquarius at 0 degrees. So what this means is you're looking at your choices in your life path. You're going, I wonder what is authentic and I wonder what is inauthentic. And choosing the authentic path is the real destiny feature for this. So issues that have not been healed or resolved might catch your attention. Any wounds, any shadows that have not been integrated, accepted, acknowledged will come to the surface now for you to look at those emotions, look at the toxic stuff, look at the dark stuff, the stuff you want to hide in your basement, going in your basement, opening up the furnace and looking directly into the eyes of that monster in the fire, looking directly in its eyes, making conscious direct contact, and choosing to face your demons, not hiding them, not repressing them, facing them. And there is beauty through that kind of shadow work that we need to be brave in order to go into those dark arenas of life. So we need to also look at the fact that our views regarding a certain matter might be completely transformed. Our opinions, our beliefs may be changed, may be transformed. We need to face our feelings about a past or present loss as well. We need to look at the things that we've lost, the people that we've lost, and choose to face those things head on and let them sit within us and be present with those things. It's also imperative not to be manipulative towards other people. This is also very, very important that we're not manipulating others emotionally. The card that I chose for December 4th is the card Trust. And I'm just going to read the beginning part of this because I think it's so evidently clear and critical. I'm just going to look at card number 47, which happens to be on page 97. So I'm going to read you the first paragraph of the guidebook. So it says, do you have issues with faith? Do you have expectations of betrayal? Do you trust mystery? Do you insist on mapping out each tiny detail of your life, believing yourself to be the center of the universe? This marker reminds you that trust is required to move forward on your path. So trust is required. You must have trust in the divine, trust in yourself, trust in your soul. Very, very critical now. There is a divine plan for all, and you have to surrender your 3D ego self doing your thing. Surrender to the divine. And understand that the divine is large and in charge. And are you worthy of a person, thing, or situation? Is a person, thing, or situation worthy of you? And choosing to put yourself in the situations with the people that are worthy of you, that you are worthy of those things, that do match your energy, that do imbibe you up well, that do, resonate with you. So that becomes crucial to look at this time. Very potent. So thank you everybody for tuning in. I really hope that you like this live format of doing these astrology reports for you. Comment down below, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you in another video. Bye everybody.